Text is a very important unit of UI when creating Android applications. In this video, I will show you how to create text elements for displaying some text message or some other message in your Android applications. First, let's create a new project in Android Studio. I open Android Studio. I wait for the Android Studio application to open up. Okay, new project. I press the new project button and then select empty compose activity. Next, I name my application compose text, and then package name and save location don't change. I don't change them. Language is Kotlin and API for the minimum API is 21. Press finish and wait for the project to be created. Alright, our project has been created. I paused the video to save time and now we can continue. I close the left pane here and also this part on the right. And first of all, I'm going to get rid of these composables added by Android Studio because we're gonna start from scratch. And I remove the content of set content. Alright. Next, I'm going to create a composable in which I will create my text element. Before creating that, let me explain a little bit about text elements in Compose. Note that there are several ways to create text composables and text UIs in Jetpack Compose. Some of the composables that deal with text are inside the foundation package of Jetpack Compose, and some of them are in the material package. First, I'm gonna start with the foundation ones. So I create a composable by typing comp and then pressing enter. This will create a placeholder for a composable. I'm gonna name it text UI, and inside it I'm gonna create a column to hold several text elements for me. I import column, and as I told you, there are several composables inside the foundation package of Jetpack Compose. I'm gonna start with basic text. Basic text, I press enter, and as you can see, it has several parameters like text, and by pressing Ctrl P you can see the rest. Text, modifier, style, on-text layout, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna pass in some text for it, like welcome to Jetpack Compose, and then a modifier. Modifier is not necessary, you can actually skip it. I'm gonna give it some padding. Let's import modifier first and then give it padding, and import the padding function as well. I'm gonna give it a padding value of 8 dp or 8 dep. Import dep. And in order to see a preview of this composable that we just created, I'm gonna create a preview function. So I type prev and then press enter. This will create a placeholder for a preview composable. I'm gonna name it preview text UI. and inside it I make a call to my composable named text UI, and then I'm gonna display it. Let's refresh the preview pane on the right and see what we have. We wait for the preview to happen, for the preview to appear after a build is done. Showing up, there we go. We have our preview of the text that we passed in to basic text. So you can see that it's pretty easy to display a text UI in Jetpack Compose using the Foundation package's basic text composable. Another composable that is available in the Foundation package is Core Text. But it's kind of a low-level composable that is not often used by us as developers for creating common UIs. Therefore, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna delete it, core text, and we will only talk about basic text from the Foundation package. But what if we want to make this composable reusable by passing a text to it and then asking it to display it for us? For that purpose, we can add a parameter to our composable like text, and its type is a string, and then ask basic text to display that parameter for us. Okay. I remove that parameter's value and pass in the passed parameter text. And this text is different from the text on the left. This is the name of the parameter, and this is the value of the parameter that is passed to us via the parameter of the type string. So in the preview function, we are gonna create a text and then pass that text variable to text UI to display it for us. Alright, I create a parameter here. I create a variable named text to display, and then its value will be welcome to Jetpack Compose or whatever that you like, and then pass it to text UI, text to display. And we refresh it. The preview should appear soon on the preview pane on the right. There we go. You see that the appearance doesn't change at all because it's essentially the same text that we passed in, but we passed the value of the text to display as a parameter this time, and we didn't hard code the text to display in basic text. Also, we can press this button, zoom to fit screen, to see the whole area of the UI in the preview pane. And in order to have a border for your text, you can use the border composable, you can use the border modifier on your chain of modifiers. So after padding, I add a border. I import border, Alt and Enter, and then for the border has a width and a color. So for the width, I pass in 4 depth, for example, and for the color, I pass in red. I import color, and then we refresh our preview. I refresh it again. Sometimes it happens like this. You have to refresh it several times for the text to appear. You see that it's not very lovely because our border has some conflict with the dimensions of our padding. So we could adjust that by changing the size of our padding, for example, by reducing our padding and reducing the border size to remediate the issue. All right. Know what? I'm gonna remove the whole border part. Doesn't stand very well here. So in this video, I told you about creating text using basic text from the foundation package of Jetpack Compose. But there's one more composable that we are going to talk about for creating text, and that is not from the foundation package. It's from the material package, and it's called text. So I'm gonna create in my column, I'm gonna create another composable by calling text, and what it does, it creates a text UI exactly like basic text, but it has material properties, and it's from a different package. It's from the material design package of Jetpack Compose. So I use the same text for the text composable as well. So for the parameter of text, I pass in text. All right, our text is ready. We can use a modifier or we can skip it. To make them similar, I'm gonna use the same modifier for the text composable as well. That adds 4 dip of padding to it. All right, let's refresh our preview of the UI that we created. Another refresh. There we go. You see that there's no difference, no apparent difference between the two UI components that we created. One of them is built using basic text and the other is created using the text composable. So basically that's it for how to create text composables in Jetpack Compose. In the next video I will talk about customizing text. So stay tuned.